Well, Zambia is the chair of the African group of negotiators at COP27. Nui Jabakil has been speaking to Collins Nzovu, the country's Minister of Green Economy and Environment, and asked him what he most wants to see from this year's summit.
To see the developed countries walk the talk. All of us, developing and developed countries, initially did not agree who was responsible or whether it was climate change was as a result of CO2 emissions. I think the science is very clear. Human activity, and in particular, development with energy, which produced a lot of CO2, is a cause of climate change. And those whose economies have developed very fast have emitted a lot of this CO2, and they need to come down. Remember also, it comes at the backdrop of the fact that, of the realization actually, that the developing world, who are least responsible, suffer the most consequences. Further, that these same developing world are highly indebted. They borrow at very, very high interest rates. So what we want to see, obviously, is financing, which will speak, and financing at scale, which will begin to address these problems as quickly as we can. What we want to see is better commitment from the developed world, be it in their mitigation measures themselves, but more so, we insist on financing, be it concessionary grants, but also, again, to see how the private sector can come in to bridge the gap.
And this is the first time that loss and damage is officially on the agenda. Finance is obviously the key issue at the summit. You've been there for a few days. From what you've seen, are rich countries serious about paying?
I can tell you that as chair of the African group of negotiators, this is a major score. We believe that we've made some movement, the developed world agreeing that the issue of loss and damage is on an agenda item. We've been building momentum. We've been talking tough to our fellow African countries, we've been talking tough to the developed world, that those actions, if you see across Africa, when there's flooding, that infrastructure is destroyed. Each year, there are repeat occurrences. So each year, any gains we make, we were taken back. Climate change effects have potential to wipe out 20, 30, 40% of our GDP. So just to see that the developed world has accepted loss and damage as an agenda item is a big score. But I can tell you that we are not relenting. What we've said to the developed world and those more responsible for these effects is that it's no longer business as usual. We will not put loss and damage on the agenda and then forget about it. It's an implementation COP. What we are saying is, how do we then ensure that the necessary funding is put for loss and damage? What will be the mechanism? So we'll be hammering out these issues in the coming days.